You made press because you were on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight, and the crowd burst into laughter. That tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side.
Bill Maher just slammed CNN's Caitlyn Collins, accusing her of hypocrisy, media bias, and pushing an agenda instead of practicing real journalism. He didn't hold back, exposing how Collins attempted to corner Trump, how CNN ignores Democratic scandals, and why the network's credibility is falling apart.
Don't even yet know the names of the 67 people who were killed, and you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control and seemingly the member of the U.S. military who was flying that Black Hawk helicopter. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think with the names of the people, you mean the names of the people that are on the plane? You think that's going to make a difference?
Does it comfort their families?
They are a group of people that have lost their lives.
From the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up to CNN's double standards, Maher broke down why viewers are losing trust in mainstream media. And he's not the only one calling it out. Even Megyn Kelly took shots at Collins, criticizing her reporting for lacking balance and authenticity.
I'm sorry, but she's only a star with leftists. And the fact that she has some roots in Alabama does not make her a fair and balanced reporter. I will submit to the record, her biggest sin is not that she is biased, though she is. It's that she's boring. She's extremely boring with no personality. I have a pro tip for her. Smile. Try smiling every once in a while. Try not to be, like, in your delivery, such a cold-hearted all the time, because it gives people nothing to bond to. You can be a tough interviewer and also have some more.
So, is Maher right? Is CNN beyond saving? Let's break down his brutal takedown and what it means for the future of journalism.
And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both of them. But on CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention.
Bill Maher didn't hold back when criticizing CNN's handling of Trump's interview with Caitlyn Collins. Instead of acting as a neutral moderator, Collins took an aggressive approach, hitting Trump with pointed, leading questions in an attempt to trap him.
If you want a list of the names, we can give you that. We'll be giving that very soon. We're in coordination with American Airlines. We're in coordination very strongly, obviously, with the military. But I think that's not a very smart question. I'm surprised coming from you.
Are you blaming your
please.
But instead of faltering, Trump handled the conversation skillfully, making Collins appear more focused on pushing a narrative than conducting a fair interview. Maher immediately called this out, slamming CNN for its biased approach and its relentless attempts to paint Trump in a negative light.
Violent language about migrants, invasion, etc. He also started going off about what he called the Biden indictment trials, which I'm sure we're going to hear more of that language, calling them election interference. And then he said, look, there's a lot of people, there's polling showing that you all thought that the 2020 election was trouble as well. So it's like he's still leaning into that, and he is encouraged by the portion of the electorate in Iowa that agrees with him.
Maher argued that Collins and CNN weren't focused on real journalism. They were more concerned with reinforcing a specific narrative. This wasn't about seeking the truth. It was about pushing an agenda. And that, he said, is exactly why people, even longtime CNN viewers, are losing trust in the network.
So because he forgets to pick up his laptop,
right.
This guy now owns it and sells it to Fox News.
This guy
who then
happens to
can
be a
take the
Republican.
pictures of his dick, disseminate it to everybody in the media who can then hold it up in Congress. Is there a legal mind here who can explain that to me? Because I never got that part.
Yeah,
of it.
don't do crack.
One of Maher's biggest frustrations was CNN's selective outrage. While the network goes all in on Trump's controversies, it barely touches Hunter Biden's scandals. Maher highlighted how the Hunter Biden laptop story, initially dismissed as a conspiracy theory, was later proven credible. Yet CNN and other mainstream outlets refused to cover it with the same intensity they would have if it involved Trump or his family.
So there's a lot of issues that the Justice Department has looked into, including, of course, this laptop that on the right wing has featured a lot of stories about Hunter Biden. We know the FBI has possession of it and that they believe it is his laptop, that the contents of it are his.
The double standard is impossible to ignore. Maher questioned, why does one party get a pass while the other is constantly under the microscope? If journalism is truly about facts, then why aren't all politicians being held to the same standard?
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before.
The hypocrisy is becoming too blatant to ignore, and Maher believes it's damaging the media's credibility, possibly beyond repair.
And finally, new rule now that polls show that the public finds the news media less trustworthy than Donald Trump. They have to fight to get their reputation back. And there are encouraging signs that that fight has been joined. The New York Times no longer shies away from saying Trump lies on the front page.
Maher isn't alone in his frustration with the media. He noted that even left-leaning viewers are growing increasingly disillusioned with CNN.
We all know about the fake news. The ratings decline has been epic, and they've been pushing the same narratives. They don't seem to have learned any lessons from the last election. Your thought?
Well, we've been seeing their viewership decline for the last few years. If they can't say anything bad about Trump for the people with Trump derangement syndrome to watch, then they have nothing to report. They're not doing actual investigative journalism.
For years, CNN has claimed to be impartial, yet its reporting consistently favors Democrats while targeting Republicans. This wasn't always the case. CNN was once seen as a trusted news source. But today, its credibility is fading fast.
But, I think the country would be better off if we had the old version of CNN and the more original version of MSNBC. It's fine. We are where we are, and that's fine too. I like the fact that we're all getting more honest. Fox is what it is, but now CNN's pretty open about being left-leaning, and people see it with their eyes.
That's not what I heard from Mark just now.
He's not going to say it, but who's the conservative host in the CNN primetime? Anyone? Scott Jennings, one panelist, doesn't make your network
and you don't buy
down the middle.
Even Megyn Kelly weighed in, calling out Caitlyn Collins for lacking warmth and authenticity. Kelly pointed out that Collins' background in right-wing media doesn't excuse the bias she now displays on CNN. The bigger issue here is trust. If, viewers can't rely on the media to be fair, they'll tune out entirely. And that's exactly what's happening.
What do you think about the fact that Kamala doesn't talk to the press? In a way, I feel like it's more insulting than what Trump does. And Trump says you're the enemy of the people, which is pretty bad. But she's kind of saying I don't need you. I'm not talking to you. You don't matter. You're not relevant anymore. To me, that's even worse than I hate you. It's like, I don't think about you.
I don't know if it's worse than denigrating the press on a daily basis, which is what Donald Trump did. I covered him in the White House every day.
During the heated discussion, Maher directly challenged Collins on CNN's supposed neutrality. He asked the tough question, how can CNN claim to be balanced when its reporting consistently favors one side? If the network is truly a platform for both perspectives, why does it always seem to push a singular narrative? Caught off guard, Collins struggled to defend herself. The tension between Maher and Collins underscored the larger debate about media integrity and the challenge of maintaining impartiality in a politically charged climate. The moment resonated with many viewers, proving once again that even journalists within the media struggle to justify their so-called objectivity. One of Maher's biggest takeaways was that the media's relentless attacks on Trump aren't working. In fact, they're backfiring, strengthening his support instead. He pointed out that a significant portion of the audience reacted positively to Trump's recent speech, even as the media continued to portray him as divisive. Instead of damaging Trump's image, The constant media attacks are only making him more popular. Maher warned that the media's deep-seated hatred for Trump has clouded their judgment, pushing them away from fair reporting and toward political activism. And that, he argued, is exactly why trust in mainstream media is collapsing. His advice? The media needs to change, or risk becoming irrelevant. As the discussion wrapped up, Maher issued a stark warning to CNN and other outlets. Either change your approach or prepare to fade into obscurity. The obsession with narratives over facts has eroded public trust, and if networks like CNN don't correct course, they'll continue losing viewers at an alarming rate. Maher urged journalists to return to their roots, reporting without bias, questioning all sides equally, and prioritizing facts over political agendas. But will CNN listen, or will they double down on their current tactics? Bill Maher's takedown of CNN and Caitlyn Collins highlights a growing crisis in journalism, one that extends far beyond a single network or journalist.
But I want to recognize that for all the flaws of the mainstream media, and we have a lot of them, it's not just the media's fault that trust has been declining for decades. It's also decades of attacks by politicians.
That is the main issue, is that, it could be that the Washington Post is endorsing candidates, or it could be that there are millions of voters who believe lying politicians who tell them lies, knowing that they are.
Media bias is more blatant than ever. Double standards are destroying public trust, and relentless attacks on Trump are backfiring. So, is journalism beyond saving, or is there still hope for real, unbiased reporting? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you trust CNN and mainstream media, or do you think Maher is right? And if you love raw, unfiltered political discussions, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.